It's spring in the garden and the roses and hydrangeas are waking up. It is the perfect time to fertilize.
Join us today as we set them up for success. We're going to show you what we use and how we apply it.
Here in upstate New York, zone 6A, it has been a very long, very cold winter, and the spring hasn't been much better. Despite that, the hydrangeas and roses are showing us that they are awake and it is time to feed them. How do we know they're awake? Well, come on in here, Christopher. Show everybody these gorgeous buds on these Invincible Spirit 2 hydrangeas. Check that out.
They look wonderful.
I know, they are ready for a juicy meal. These are a smooth leaf variety that bloom pink and then they fade to like a nice subtle green as the season progresses. One of my favorite varieties. So that tells us those are ready to be fed. And then roses kind of do the same thing. So come this way. I saw this rose earlier, really stood out to me. It's a newer one to us. It'll be its first full season in our garden. It's called the Lark Ascending, and it's an English shrub rose. It's right here in our mixed border, which is going to be filled with blooms very soon, believe it or not. But look, also showing us that it is awake,
very healthy,
and ready for some food.
While not every fertilizer that we use is organic, when we're doing these in-ground spring feeds, we do use organic fertilizer. The reason for that is the organic fertilizers go low and slow. They take their time, they work their way into the soil, they feed the soil just as much as they're going to feed
and they're
the
safe
plants.
to use because you can't overdo them.
You can't overdo them the way that a synthetic, you could really hurt your plants sometimes. These are just going to make everything happy in their own time and let Mother Nature do most of the heavy lifting. What we'll be doing today is the Coast of Maine Stonington Blend Organic Fertilizer. This has a whole bunch of goodies, most of them from the sea on the coast of Maine, in fact.
And some worm castings.
Some worm castings, lobster and crab meal, and kelp. The reason we're choosing this one, it is super organic. It's the LMRI listed for organic use, and it is an NPK of 5 to 4. Very nice. Subtle blend for us for the season. And the way that you apply this is you can either add it right into the soil or mix it in to a compost or another soil medium. So I thought, what a great idea. Let's use the Coast of Maine roses and flower soil, and you take 3 cups or 1 pound of this to 1 bag, which is about a cubic foot. And you mix them together and then you top dress around your plants. And that is sort of the nice distribution method for making sure everything gets properly fed.
Yeah, and then you would water it in, but because we have rain on the forecast for tomorrow, we're just gonna let Mother Nature do that for us as well, and we are gonna let rain water it in.
You know I have to smell it, Eric. It's our first time using
I know,
this.
you love to sniff dirt.
I love to sniff the dirt. This has, well, it's funny, I'm sniffing it. This one has composted manure, peat moss, aged bark. So
I think that's a common misconception too, is people think that compost smells bad because it's made out of decaying matter, but good compost shouldn't smell at all.
No, I think it smells good.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't smell bad at all. So we're getting 4 of these bags.
Make a brew.
I'll clean that.
Yes, you clean that up. I'm just in the zone.
That one was a little wet.
Oh, that was a wet bag. That's funny. Here you go.
Got it.
I'll break this up a little bit. Mix up this sort of wet part with the dry part just for ease. Now I have enough Stonington to do more, but I figure we should start with this ratio because otherwise it'll overflow the Gorilla Cart.
Oh yeah.
All right, now let's see, what do we think this smells like? I think it smells like alfalfa.
What does alfalfa smell like?
I don't know, like hay. Like it smells kind of like a hay.
Yeah, I mean, I would say very minimal fragrance. So I'm gonna actually get pretty close so it doesn't blow away in the wind.
Good idea.
And then I'll pour about 1/3 of the bag in. We'll do a little mix.
Give me a little in my hand. I'm just gonna show everybody what it looks like. You can see it's just sort of this grainy, crushed up goodness.
Mix all of this in.
This is fun. It's like when you're a kid and you make potions.
I love fertilizing the hydrangeas and roses because I'm a little obsessed with both of them, and this guarantees that they're gonna get that nutrients that they need to put out those blooms, because it's a lot of energy to create those blooms, and then especially for roses to continually bloom.
Yeah, the newer varieties that just repeat bloom and repeat bloom, they're just workhorses.
All right, I'm gonna put this with the trash. I mean, in all sincerity, I mean, we top dress our garden with compost, so this is just extra added goodies for the roses and hydrangeas.
It's like super compost now.
It is, but roses really, really need it. The hydrangeas are just really lucky they're getting it. We mentioned earlier that this was a newly planted shrub last season. So the drip line is going to be a little bit different on a newly planted shrub than something that's really established. This we planted at, what do you think, last June?
Yeah, it was a mid-season. I don't think it was a late season plant.
Yeah, I'm just going to clean some of the debris away. Ideally, the drip line is, you know, as the shrub comes up and grows out like this, the drip line is going to be when that rain comes down and it falls off of the edge of the plant, where would that be? So I'm thinking, you know, normally if this shrub was full size, the drip line would be kind of out here. But this is a newer plant, so I'm thinking the root system isn't as far away as a more established shrub. So I'm going to go ahead and clear a little bit of space around here. Lots of growth coming in that one. And this is only going to get one scoop.
Yeah, just the scoop.
And all I'm going to do is do it kind of away from the base. We don't want to build this up onto the crown of the plant or anything. And then go ahead and press it in and let Mother Nature's rain take care of it tomorrow. And that is how we're going to fertilize the younger shrubs in our garden. When we get to a more established one, we'll show you that.
Well, let's move on down here to this hedge of mini mauvettes. And I guess we can just go along the way.
Again, these aren't that young. These were planted in the fall of 2023.
Yep.
So they've had one full year. So they're about a year and a half in. You can see all this new growth. You also see a little critter digging around back here. We don't want that. So they're each going to get one little scoop. Now this is the type of hydrangea that it is not impacted by soil pH. It's always going to bloom that mauve color no matter what. And either way, this is a neutral fertilizer. It's not acidic. It's not alkaline or alkalinic.
Yeah, I think alkali. I don't know if alkalinic is a whole word. I think it's an extra part of a word.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to have an impact on the color of the bloom. These are just always going to bloom pink. But again, I'm not piling it up on the crown of the plant. I'm just putting it around the base. Oops.
So nice.
I know. The drip in this area is almost revamped completely, which is exciting.
Yeah, I've been working on the drip irrigation. As things have grown, some things need less water just because they're established. Some things need more because we've learned the hard way. But this will be fully dripped soon.
And then I see that pinky winky back there. I don't think I'm going to fertilize it. It's so established, I don't think it needs it.
No, and it's also in a very wet area. That little section here is almost boggy. There's a birch tree right here, and there's winter berries. So it really doesn't need any additional nutrition.
But this Litchfield Angel and this Crown Princess Margareta, they really do.
Yeah, these are both heavy producer roses. They put out tons of flowers.
And you can see we have them caged to protect them from the rabbits. The drip line for these is going to be way further out. It's going to be right out around here. I'm going to try and outline it for you so you can see, because these are more established. And that also works out for us because it's on the outside of that.
On the outside of the cages.
Yes. So they're just going to get a little bit of this
sprinkled about.
I'm going to give them 2 scoops because, again, roses are much heavier feeders. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I think that's one of the things that's great about organic fertilizer is you can't put too much on there. We just don't want to put too much on there because we have so many to do.
Yeah, we don't want to make any extra work.
We've got an entire garden of this to do. Like Christopher said, oh, I don't even know if we said it earlier, but we have over 200 hydrangeas and over 80 roses. So a little goes a long way.
I hope it, I mean, it still looks full in there. But actually, Eric, we have a couple of the Firelight Tidbit small hydrangeas, but maybe you want to jump back there and talk about that quickfire, which is very established, and how you're going to approach that.
That is a very established shrub. Again, the really established big ones, I don't even know if we need to fertilize them yet. I kind of want to focus on the smaller baby ones and make sure we have enough for everybody. But I do want to talk about the drip line on it.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
So look right here. These have been pruned back. So normally this with blooms and flowers would probably come out to here over these alliums. So that's where the drip line would be.
It's a big circle.
Yeah, it would be out here, right? I wouldn't fertilize right under there because the roots, the like freshest, newest roots that are soaking up that nutrients in the water, they're not right at the base of the plant at this point in time when the shrub is this size. They're more outward. So just take that into consideration as you're trying to figure out what the drip line is. But let's move back to these tiny little guys up front. Firelight Tidbit. These last year were freshly planted and did not, they were tiny little quart sizes.
They were very little sticks.
And then they didn't get enough water. I think they didn't get enough water throughout the season. So they kind of stunted a bit. And they've also been pruned back quite a bit. So they had a lot of things going against them, but this, oops, I got a little on the crown. This is really gonna help them. Give them a little zest for life.
Some joie de vivre.
So that they can match that one, which is an older, more established variety. So again, believe it or not,
there's a drip line.
Yeah, this is a mature specimen of a Firelight Tidbit. So the drip line is going to be out here. Way out there.
I like your visual marking the circle, Eric. It looks very
that
official.
helpful?
Under these pop-up plant protectors are 5 Let's Dance lovable hydrangeas. They are a Macrophylla serrata hybrid. Correct, right? They are a hybrid one?
I think so, yeah.
Yes, they are the hybrid. And we have these protectors on them because their buds aren't super hardy. They're a little bit on the edge for our zone, and we want that first round of blooms to come up. So we're not going to fertilize them now because we want them to stay asleep. We don't want to encourage any new growth. We'll get back to those, and when we do that, we'll also be able to make a decision about the pH. We may add some soil acidifier if we want them to be a little more blue. We could let them go if we want them to be a little more pink because our soil tends to produce a pink hydrangea. Here's some landscape roses. We have 7 of them here. They don't really need a full feeding, but I'm almost thinking I'm gonna give them each a half scoop just to give them a little bit of a boost. These are a workhorse kind of rose. They just produce and produce like nobody's business. So just a little something just so they don't feel left out as we're going around the rest of the garden. Eric, would you like me to fertilize the Seaside Serenades?
I mean, you can. I don't even know if they're going to make it through this season because they've been pretty underperforming.
Okay, well, in that case, let's
save it. If we have leftovers, they'll get it.
Okay, so let's skip right over here to Tough Stuff, which has been my hydrangea of choice for quite a long time. It might be replaced by something on the other side. But this has quite a large drip line, and we love this hydrangea. So I am going to go and give this a nice, healthy dose.
Yes, and this is one that also, it's a mountain hydrangea. It does change color depending on soil pH. Last year we had a nice mix of purpley pink blooms, which I think is kind of what we get on our big leaf varieties. We have a pretty neutral soil.
I just ran to get the leaf blower because before we do anything with the generous gardener here, I feel like we should take the cage off and take care of some of these leaves.
I agree.
Let me use my...
And it's kind of like a catch-22 because the leaves, you know, obviously will degrade, and they do turn into nutrients.
They do, but they're going to take a while, and frankly, they're a little unsightly right now.
Yeah, and we don't want too much buildup, and you never know what negative things that could be living on the leaves.
Okay, brace for impact, Eric. I'm going in your direction.
Oh, geez, maybe I'll move. I'll come up
Well, that's better.
I just feel better about that.
Also, the Betty Corning clematis has sent out an incredible amount of new growth. Look at that plant, Eric.
That's amazing. Gorgeous. So then we'll put that little cage back around. Oh, it looks like we had a self-rooted Bobo hydrangea branch as well. We could snip that off and plant that up somewhere else if we wanted. It wasn't against the rules.
Yeah, Bobo is a gorgeous hydrangea. If they're volunteers, is it still against the rules, Eric?
I don't know. I think if you do you in your garden, folks.
All right. These chicken wire cages have been such a boon to keeping the rabbits away.
Because they would be nibbling up that clematis growth right now if they weren't caged up. Because that fresh new growth is so tempting. It's probably like a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Easter egg to them, which is my favorite treat this time of year.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so then someone had asked how I affix these together. I'm really just taking the little snipped ends of the wire right there, and I'm just kind of bending them around. Nothing technical, no. I thought about using zip ties, but for moments like the one that we've just had where we need to reshape it or do something like that, it's just better to kind of bend the wire together.
These are pretty established. These are planted as bare roots in what, 2022?
Yeah, they've been doing very well.
That's some drip Christopher's playing with back
Some
there.
old drip I'm trying to get out of the way. I don't have pruners to clip it out.
Yeah.
It's gonna go all the way around the outside. Well, while I'm here, I should probably take care of that Bobo hydrangea
That's
that you
true.
have mentioned.
Yes.
Gorgeous hydrangea.
I know. I got to get in there and pull some of that built up compost away from the base, though. All right, back to our Invincible Spirit 2s. These are a more established variety, as we mentioned earlier. Believe it or not, these were little quart sizes when they were planted, like the kind you order online, just a little quart size, and they've grown so quickly.
So big, so full.
More established. So again, their drip line is going to be way out here. So I don't want to go in and put it on the crown of the plant. I want to keep it more towards the edge. So I'm just going to kind of get out here.
A little more willy-nilly.
Yeah, and they kind of all grow together as one gorgeous mass of blooms. But again, you really can't mess it up. We just don't want to be wasteful because...
Right.
And this lamium here is like unkillable.
Yeah, it's unkillable. It is, that little area down there of lamium started as 4 plants, and as you can see, it has spread itself out nicely.
This was an experimental Let's Dance Sky View. We left it uncovered and unprotected to kind of see what would happen. And I see lots of growth at the base, and I see some swelling buds up top. So we know it's alive and we know it survived being uncovered, but I'm interested to see what the status of the blooms are.
I have high hopes. I also wish I could remember what this is that's directly next to your right leg.
That is Delft Blue Geranium.
Oh my goodness! That's where those went.
Yes, I moved them one day.
I had no idea. I just saw something pretty that had kind of a, I don't know, cilantro looking leaf. That's what it made me think of.
That's funny. So this oak leaf strip line is way out here. So I'm just gonna willy-nilly call it a day.
Great.
And now, oh, we gotta do our little babies up there. Those little hydrangeas.
Oh yeah, and we have these roses.
Oh, yep, we got Vanessa Bell. It's amazing how many we have. Christopher just spent some time tidying this area up, getting out some of the dead branches.
And the branch that I just broke.
And you can see there's tons of new growth at the base. These are wee white hydrangeas, another variety that's a smooth leaf arborescens type.
They do so beautiful here in the southern exposure. At the front of
it
our
is
house.
impressive. Now, sometimes if they get a lot of water on their white blooms, they can brown out a bit, so it's best to not overhead water them. These perform really well for us. They do get a little sprinkler overspray sometimes, but they rebound nicely. So they're all cleaned up, and now it's time to apply a scoop, or it looks like we're probably going to apply 4 scoops because there's 4 of them together, of fertilizer around their drip lines. And believe it or not, these are fully established, full-grown wee whites. They've probably been here 5 years at this point.
Yeah, they've been here a long time.
Very strong performers. And that green foliage around them is not grass, that is crocus foliage. The crocuses are past their bloom right now, so what they leave behind is this foliage. You'll want to leave that to absorb as much sunlight as possible so that it can build strength in the bulb for next year's blooms. There's also a little bit of tulip foliage there, and in front is a river of muscari. So those have not bloomed yet. That's just their foliage blooms, TBD.
Not that it needs it, but I'm gonna give some food to Emily Bronte.
Oh my gosh, Emily Bronte is a beast.
Just 1 scoop. This rose is powerful.
Can we give these Invincible Rubies a little extra fertilizer, please? I feel like they did a little bit of heaving. We talked about heaving in our last video too, because they were planted in the fall.
Ooh, another peony I forgot I planted.
And then these, can't remember what these were.
That is totally stoked Riptide Stokes Aster.
Aster, okay.
So fingers crossed those come back because they're awesome. But I did protect the Firefly Fuchsia that we know are bunny food.
All right, we are reaching the end of the fertilizer.
I don't know how we did this, but you only had to make one more brew, one more bucket of it, and we have exactly enough.
Yep, these are the Lady of Shalott roses that, believe it or not, grow up and above this wall at this point in time. They got pruned back pretty hard because the rabbits did go after them quite a bit. And this is the north side of this wall, which also really shocks me.
Double-handed.
Double-handed. We do bury our roses pretty deep, so
Yeah,
getting it around the rose crown isn't that big of a deal. It doesn't bother them like it bothers hydrangeas, but we do want to make sure it goes out where the roots are going to be, close to the wall, out in front of the cage. They're going to be really happy. How much is left?
Just a little bit.
Because I realized we didn't do these Invincible Sublimes.
Perfect. We have exactly enough.
Oh yeah, that is going to be perfect. This is a great hedge. Another hydrangea that we planted as courts, if you can believe it, in 2022.
Yeah, these have grown very fast.
As tiny little courts. So if you do see a court available of a arborescens variety of hydrangea that you like,
Don't be afraid.
don't be afraid. And then when you fertilize them with good quality fertilizer, like the stuff we're using today, they'll grow quick and healthy.
The final scoop. Very excited.
I am. You know what? It didn't take nearly as much time as I thought it would, and it was so great to get out, get up close with the plants, see how everybody's doing after a long winter. I can't believe we did it. We were able to fertilize every hydrangea and every rose in our garden. We'll probably do it again mid-season if we can, if we get a chance to. If we miss it, not a big deal.
Oh, well.
So follow along. Make sure you click like and subscribe. Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're Grow For Me Gardening.
Thanks for growing with us.